Hi friends, welcome back to our channel Total QA. In our channel, we posted multiple videos categorized into different playlists. Please go through them to get required knowledge on WebDriver, Java, Selenium WebDriver mainly, Page Object Model, SOAP UI, Selenium interview questions, TestNG, Jenkins, GitHub, REST API tutorial, CSS tutorial, XPath tutorial. In today's video, we are going to discuss about installation and configuration of the Jira tool. First thing, what is Jira? Jira is a project and issue tracking tool. It is mainly from Atlassian. It's a product from Atlassian. To download Jira, we can access this website. Let me access this website, www.atlassian.com. Copy this link. Just try to access this link in a tab, new tab. And here, if you look into that, we can find out Try Now button. We can click on it and try to install Jira now. And also you can see login here. If we already have credentials to login, we can just click on login directly to access Jira. But as we are trying for the first time, click on Try Now. When you click on Try Now, if you scroll down, you will find Jira software and it is Try Cloud option is there. So when you have an option of cloud, it doesn't require any software to be installed in your laptop. You can access Jira using a URL. So you can just say click on Try Cloud button here. And here we already selected Jira software, and we can even select a second product, which is Confluence. Confluence is mainly to maintain the documentation for a project. In a project, you can maintain the documentation like design, you can maintain your processes, you can maintain your release cycle, you can maintain the information such as your bug life cycle. So any information about the project we can maintain in a documentation, that is called Confluence. So you can click on next. One advantage here is we don't need to provide a credit card. It's totally free. And we can find out some information like supports up to 10 users. We can keep on adding users up to 10. It includes 2 GB of storage and offers community support. There is a forum where we can ask the questions and clarify all your doubts. And if you are facing any issue, we can type there in the community. We can get the answers accordingly. And it is always free. No credit card required. Yes, we are going to do that only. Click on next button now. And here you can continue with Google or sign up with email. Okay, you can just click and sign up with email now. And you can provide all the information. Just click on, once you enter all the information, click on agree. Automatically you can access your account to practice Jira to get hands-on experience. Okay, I already created an account now. So if you already have an account, actually this account is valid for 14 days of time. So you can practice within 14 days of time and try to get the required knowledge. I already have the credentials, but if I have the credentials, the link which is required to access it is, this is the link. You can just copy this link directly because I already have the credentials. I already registered myself. So just put the link, direct link here, and just click on enter here. It takes some time to launch. Post that, I can log in with my credentials. Okay. Now it has automatically taken my credentials because I have saved my credentials. If I click on it here, it has taken totalqa9@gmail.com and I have logged in automatically. But if you are having the credentials, you can find out login button, click on login to log in with your credentials to access this website. Now, when I click on here, I can see my cloud products. Jira software is the one which I click on it because this is the one which I have registered. Click on Jira software. And in the Jira software, you can create a project. I already have created multiple projects, but for our practice, I will create one more project now. Let's say create a project. Select this, create a classic project, and we need to create the project name. So let's try to do one thing. We are going to create a project, but every project has some requirements, right? So let's take any e-commerce website now. Say e-commerce project, and we can say EC is a key. We're creating one e-commerce project. EC is a key, and you want a Kanban template. Kanban template is mainly as a storyboard. You can see all the stories in a board, or if else you can change the template. You can select a Scrum. It is always better to select a Scrum template because we are changing the template here. We just select Scrum as a template, and you can see that is getting highlighted. Suppose, for example, if you want a board, what is a Kanban board? Kanban board is nothing but the representation of all the issues in a tabular format. But here we are going with the Scrum. We can manage stories, tasks, workflow for a Scrum team, for a teams that deliver work on a regular schedule. So you have a specific schedule. You have to complete the work in the specific schedule. So you have to select Scrum template to continue further. We are selecting the Scrum template and click on create button now for this e-commerce project. Now the project has been created. We can see here the project has been created, which is an e-commerce project which is getting created. Now, what is the first step? We need to understand the sum of the roles in the project before we go ahead and discuss the next steps. So the roles which are available in a project, are product owner and Scrum Master, which are very important roles in Agile methodology. Product owner. The roles and responsibilities of the product owner are defining the requirements, determine the release date. When I say release will happen within 2 months or 3 months of time, depends upon the application. It might take 2 months, it might take 3 months. The release date has to be planned from now. Suppose if you wanted to do it from now, we have to plan 2 months from now or 3 months from now. Defines the acceptance criteria. So when we can say this backlog is completed, when we can say this requirement is totally completed, that's the acceptance criteria. Accept the stories and the team definition of done. What is the definition of done? Nothing but whenever you start doing some work as per some specific guidelines or expectation, then once we achieve the result, based upon that we can say yes, this is completed. So the product owner has the responsibility of checking the outcome of the requirement and mark it as definition of done, this requirement as part of the project. That's the responsibility of the product owner. And Scrum Master facilitate team meetings and decision making sessions, remove the blocks and work with the organization to track the progress. So what is the job of a Scrum Master? Scrum Master always make sure, yes, in the team, if anyone is having any blockers. And Scrum Masters are mainly responsible to conduct a daily stand-up. In the daily stand-up, the team members will talk about their work, their progress, and if there are any blockers, they can highlight in the stand-ups, which will be taken care by the Scrum Master and try to track them to get them to closer. That's a responsibility of the Scrum Master. So these two roles are very important in Agile methodology, especially when you talk about a tool called Jira, which is totally depends on Agile methodology. These two roles are very important. So when we see here, the product owner is defining the requirements. Let's see an example. So these are the requirements. Let's take these two are the requirements, main requirements for this e-commerce website, e-commerce application. If you look into this, one of the requirement is implement authentication of the application. Authentication is mainly you try to log in with username and password. And also you implement the authorization of the application. There is a difference between authentication and authorization. Authorization means mainly once you log in, suppose if you have access to a specific service, we can access it based upon the permissions provided. If you don't have the access to the service, you cannot access the service. Depends upon the permissions provided to the user. So authentication is login. Authorization is once you log in, whether you have access to the service, then only you can access and utilize the services. So there are two requirements which are mainly has to be completed as part of this e-commerce application. So we call these two requirements are nothing but epics. It's a high level requirements. We call them as epic. These high level epics are broken down into features or stories. A epic is broken down into a feature. We call it as a feature, or we call it as a story. We broken down into multiple user stories. If you look into the story for the authentication, first time user has to register to the application, and a registered user login successful with valid credentials. A registered user login not working with invalid credentials. So if you see the acceptance criteria, the registration is successful, login is successful, login is not working in the case of invalid credentials. Then if you look into the second requirement, the epic name, implement the authorization of the application. Only a specific set of users can utilize the resources. Users does not have the authorization cannot access the resources. Authorization is working for the users having access. Users does not have authorization cannot access the service. Okay, so it is mainly from the authorization and authentication of the project, the application, the epics are totally written and broken down into multiple stories. Now, who is the owner of this epic? The Jira backlog. This epic stories, all these we call as backlog. So the backlog has to be defined. The backlog has to be defined by the product owner, and we can mark it as a release. Release duration is 2 months, 3 months from now. But the version is 1.0, and you can put the date, release date also you can add here, so that we know when we can complete this release. Release date also is important because we should plan to complete within the specific release. I can say release date is 3 months from now. Okay, so the responsibility of the Jira backlog is mainly done by the product owner in the project. Now, one more important point, these are all not technical information. These are all mainly from the application perspective. The product owner talks to customers, stakeholders, gather the requirements and keep that information in the type of epics and the user stories and share with the team. The product owners are not technical. They are mainly from the domain perspective and having a thorough knowledge on the product or the application. They always engage with the customers, get into the customer calls, discuss the requirements and gather them and put it in the backlog. That's the responsibility of the product owner. Now, after that, once we get the backlog, yes, we got the backlog from the product owner and the product owner is responsible for the creation of this backlog. The next thing is we have to maintain this information in Jira right now. We have to maintain this information into Jira right now. Okay, so what is an epic now? So we have given some definition here. An epic is a high level requirement of the project and this has to be converted into a stories. We are going to maintain this information, and very important point, a story is divided into different subtasks. Okay, so let me show the representation of this. If you go to our blog, totalqa.com blog, in the totalqa.com blog, we already have one of the topic which is Agile tools for software teams, Jira, Rally, Zephyr. We have already one topic already written long time back. You can check this document here. If you see the representation of the story, a story is divided into multiple tasks. A task is how the functionality is implemented. Stories are implemented by the tasks. Okay, a story is broken down into multiple subtasks. Epic, then a story, then a task. This is the granularity level of the information. And also you will be having some interview questions as part of agile methodology. What is the right team size? Generally the right team size is between 5 to 9 people. For 5 developers, 1 tester is dedicated. For 9 developers, 2 testers are dedicated. This is very important. Okay, there are a lot of project management tools like Rally, Jira, Zephyr. For understanding these concepts in a better way, we follow the steps on a Jira software. Okay, I had given all the steps. You can follow this documentation to get more information. But let's get into our notepad to discuss about this information. Epic, story, subtasks. Okay, let's get into Jira now. Let's create this information. Now first thing, I have to create an epic. And also when you say an epic, an story, a subtask, all these we call as issues. What is the issue? Let's look into the issue. Very important point is issue. Issue are the building blocks of any Jira project. An issue could represent a story, a bug, a task, or another issue type in your project. So when I talk about an issue can be a story, a bug, or a task. So right now we are creating an epic. Epic is also a issue. Epic is also an issue. Story is also an issue. Task is also an issue. Bug is also an issue. Everything is an issue in the case of Jira now. Let's try to create an issue now. Okay, let me click on create button here. And what are we trying to create? We're trying to create an epic. Select epic. The project is e-commerce project EC. Select epic. So what is the epic name? The epic name is implement the authentication of the application. Copy this, put this information here. Summary, you can put is able to log in successfully. You can put the summary and you can create a component. It is always important that we have to create a component. We will create a component because there will be multiple components available. Say module 1, module 2, module 3. Suppose you are developing this epic for a specific component, say UI component. So we can say component 1. So like that we can categorize this requirement based upon different components. We can create a component afterwards. And also you can just say you can just click on new issue. We can create an issue again here. Suppose for example, if you want to select the issue, you want to link it here, you can even link it here. But as of now, we created this epic and the epic name we have created, and you can create, then we can create a sprint as well. We'll create the sprint, but let's click on create. So EC_1 has been created successfully. You click on the link, you get to know about this epic. Yes, user is able to log in successfully. Okay, and you can assign to a specific user. Suppose in the team, if you want to create a team, you can click on people and create a specific person in the team and try to assign this epic to a specific owner of this epic. The owner can be take care of this. But right now we don't have any assignee, but I'll assign to myself, because I'm going to work on this epic. So I send this epic on my name. Now, once if you look into this, there are no issues in the epic. So we have to associate some issues in the epic. Let's do one thing. Let's again click on create now. This time you create a story now. Select story and again open Excel. Just select this first story, put the information here, and when you scroll down here, when you click on this one, relates to, you can put relates to, and you can give the epic as EC1. EC1 is an epic 1. Click on create. click on create. And also you can open this. You can open this again. This is the story. This is the story, and this story is linked to this epic. So when I open epic now, let me open epic. I'll open epic and show you. If you click on the backlog now, we can see the epic and the story. Click on the backlog. We can see epics. There is an epic. This is the epic. And you can see here, I think this issue is not associated with this epic. Let's do one thing. You can see here, this issue is not associated with this epic, right? So we have to make sure that we have to associate this story to this epic. Click on EC1, which is epic now. Okay, here if you scroll down, you can just click here, this section. Let's do one thing. Let's click on configure. Click on configure. Okay, I think configuration doesn't help us to associate the story to this epic. Let's try to associate the story with the epic. So you can say here link issue. Let's click on link issue. When you click on the link issue, you can say here, you can put, and we can put the issue as first time user. We have to link it. Then only this will be shown. So if you look into the backlog again, click on the backlog to see. So we can see whether epic has been linked to a story or not. Click on epics here. Let's do one thing. Let's create an issue in the epic now. Let's do one thing. Instead of that, let's try to go here. I'll do one thing. I'm just dragging and dropping here. Then again you can see once I create this story, I dragged and dropped it here, so I can see one issue available in this epic. So either you create a issue separately and drag and drop it here, or else you create a issue in the epic. Go to the backlog, then just click on epics, create issue in the epic, because we should be having a linking mechanism for the epic to the story. The second story is registered user, login successful with valid credentials. Just do that and click on create again. Then you have two issues. Yes, let me try to create one more issue now. Story, we are going to create here. Create here. Right, we have totally, how many issues are there? Let's try to refresh this URL. We can find out that there are totally 3 issues which are part of the epic. Click on the backlog, select the epic, you can find out 3 issues. You can see here 3 issues are available as part of this epic. So epic to a story, we have linked it. How we have done it? We have gone to the backlog. We have gone to the backlog here. We select epic, create issues, and we can see 3 issues, and these are all 3 stories which are available in the backlog. Now what we can do after that is, let's try to open one story and try to create some of the tasks inside the story. Let me open one of the story. How do we open the story? If you want to open the story, you always need to click on the link here. There's a link. Let me click on the link now. Click on the link. And once you click on the link, or else you can do one more thing also. Right click on the link. open the link in the new tab. It will open in a new tab. We can see EC2 is the story name. And here we can create some of the tasks inside this story. Here we can see create subtask is there. Create subtask is there. I can say click on create subtask to create subtasks. So what is one of the subtasks we can create? We can say develop mock UI screens. This is the responsibility of the UX team. UX developer will be responsible for developing the mock UI screens for this. That's the first subtask. Similarly, you can create one more subtask saying that coding or designing of the application. Designing, right? Designing is also important. Or you can say design of the requirement. Design for the login functionality. Then afterwards coding. Then after that you can say write test cases. Design test cases. Then you can say write test cases. So mainly we can say execute test cases. And you can even have a code review. Suppose the development team has written a coding. They can write JUnit test cases. They can even get the code review done. So you can create multiple subtasks for a story, right? Similarly, you can take one more story. You can go to EC1. EC1 is a epic. In EC1 you have 3 stories. Let me open one more story and try to put again some of the tasks we can add here. Develop mock UI screens. It's very important. Without UI screens we cannot start writing test cases. So in a team, definitely there is a developer, UX developer responsible for developing this mock UI screens. Then afterwards you can say design, coding, review, code review. Then afterwards you can even have JUnit test cases also. Okay, development activity, JUnit test. Then you can start writing design test cases. Then you can say peer review of test cases. And you can even get these test cases reviewed by development team as well. Review test case review by development team. And you can even say here execution of test cases. And after that, what is very important thing is it has to be assigned to one of the team member. Right now I'm assigning to myself, one of the team member, and you can even label this. You can put the label. Suppose for example I am putting the label as, say, this is a UI topic. I'll just put here UI. This is related to UI story. Or you can say module 1, as I said, say this is module 1. You can have a label also. So what is the advantage of the modules? You can categorize the stories into a specific module. Suppose I wanted to list down only the stories which are under a particular module. Yes, we can achieve that. So labels are very important, which will be helpful to categorize the entire stories. Okay, so suppose I can just try to create a label, but right now it is, let's see, module 1. I can see new label, I'm selecting it. Yes, this will be marked as module 1. See, labels are important to categorize the stories. So I can keep some stories in module 1, some stories in module 2. Suppose let's go to another story under this epic. Let me go to another story. Say suppose I go to this story, first time user register to the application. So this also I'll assign to myself. Then I'll put the label as module 1. So module 1 is already created. I just select it. First time it will ask to create, but second time it will select automatically. So the module 1 is selected. Suppose I click on module 1 now. What happens? When I click on module 1, I came to know that how many are the stories which are part of the label 1. So labels are very important in real time, which will categorize and identify the set of stories which are part of it. Now again, go back to projects. My project is e-commerce project. Then again, I go back to the backlog. Go to backlog. So it's always important we will start from the backlog to understand this concept very well. Then we have Epic. Okay, we have 3 issues in the Epic. Now, if we look into the notepad, the next topic is mainly we have to focus on, once we got the backlog created, Epic is created, story is created, subtasks are created, the next step is we have to focus on creation of the sprint. What is a sprint? A sprint is a period of time in which specific task is completed. Actually, it's a specific task in which is a period of time in which specific task is completed. Mainly we are focusing on the task. Task is completed. I'll just mention here is completed. Right? Sprint is a period of time in which specific task is completed. The duration is totally 2 weeks of time. In a sprint we take, it is the duration of 2 weeks of time. And very important point here in the case of sprint is we have to consider sprint planning. Suppose let's take 2 weeks of time, it is totally 10 days. We consider 10 days. On the first day, what we do? We just focus on sprint planning. We discuss. In the backlog, we have 3 stories. Can we complete all the 3 within 2 weeks of time? Can we take only 1 story? Yes, we can take 1 story. We will see how many of the team members are available. In the development team, say 10 members or 8 members are available. In these 8 members, 4 members are working on this activity and 4 members are working on other activity. We should plan accordingly. And there are 2 testers. One tester will be focusing on writing the manual test cases. One tester will focus on automating the test cases. So we have to plan accordingly. When you plan accordingly on the first day, you should try to implement the plan on the next day onwards, or the same day onwards you have to start implementing the plan. Then after the sprint of 2 weeks of time, you will be having a sprint retrospective. What is the advantage of retrospective? It's always important that we have to discuss what went well, what didn't go well. This is what we have to discuss. We have to document. Sometimes what happens, you don't have a understanding of the specific requirement. The requirement is not having clear information. There are some gaps in the requirement. When there are some gaps in the requirement, definitely the development team cannot start coding and you cannot start testing of that functionality within the same sprint. So definitely there is some spillover. What is spillover? Suppose you say I complete 2 stories in the backlog as part of the sprint of 2 weeks of time. But there is a possibility that we cannot meet our deadline of completing these backlog items within 2 weeks of time. There is a spillover. So how do you overcome the spillover? The most common problem in the case of agile methodology in the sprint is sprint spillover. So how do you overcome? You can overcome sprint spillover by based upon the daily scrum. A scrum master mainly responsible to take care of the daily scrum and ask the questions, understand if there are any blockers, discuss the blockers, try to resolve them. That is the responsibility of the scrum master. If you don't resolve the blockers, definitely there is a spillover will happen in the project as part of the sprint. Okay, so all these topics we have to discuss on the sprint planning day, the sprint planning day first day, and also sprint retrospective after the sprint spillover from the current sprint to the next sprint, it will happen. Now let's go ahead and create a sprint in the case of Jira now. Once I go to the backlog, I can see a create sprint button. I click on create sprint button now. Then I just click on create sprint. Then we can say here create sprint. Let's click on active sprints now. Okay, let's go back to the backlog again. Let's create a sprint again one more time. Just click on, let's click on issues here. So in this sprint, when you create a sprint, we got EC sprint 1. What we have to do is now here, let's go to the backlog now again one more time. Let's create issues. Let's go back to issues now. Okay, so we can see all the issues now. Let's do one thing. Let's go back to the project now again. Then you can find out backlog. Click on the backlog again. Let's do one thing. Let's again click on create sprint now. Let's observe what will happen when you click on create sprint. You will see sprint 1 is created with 0 issues. When you scroll down, you can drag and drop. How to drag and drop this story. So let me try to drag and drop. See here in the sprint 1. Again, drag and drop. Okay, we selected, let me drag and drop here. So we selected only 2 stories which are part of the sprint that can be completed, and we can see, if you want, you can edit the sprint, we can delete the sprint. Let me click on edit the sprint. You can mention the name as sprint 1. The goal is complete the registration, login, valid credentials, and put the goal of this sprint 1. Now you can even, once we decided to complete these two stories on the sprint planning day, that's the first day, you can click on start the sprint. When you start the sprint, it is important we have to give the dates from when to when, right? So you can say start date is, suppose for example, you can give 13th October, or you can give the date as, say, suppose for example, you can give the date as 27th here, and click on, you can just see here, let's minimize this website. You can see here there are 10 working days in the sprint. Click on start, this sprint is started now. And in the sprint, you can see here, when I click on add to sprints, it shows sprint 1, and you can see all the issues here. And what is the story? It is to do. Once this story is started working by a particular developer, it will go to in progress. Then once it is completed, it will be done. So this is the process to be followed from the backlog to the epic, to the stories, to the tasks, to the active sprints. This is the process to be followed. Okay, now next thing is components. Usually there are some components we can create. See here, let's go to the components. Labels are different, components are different. When I say components, suppose you have some of the components are mainly responsible components. Let's take more component is like a UI component. UI is one of the component. In the UI, mainly we can say, see, module is the one which I categorize as the label, but components are, say, suppose for example, you need this component for say login. Login is one of the component. You consider login is one of the component. Okay, or registration is one of the component. You can take any component registration. Okay, and save it. Right, and this component, usually the component can be associated with the story as well, but here because of the free trial version we are unable to do that. Let me go to one of the backlog and try to see if we can associate this component to the stories now. Let me open any of the issue now to update this component. So let me try to click on this link, right click, open with new tab. Always you open the new tab to understand this. Okay, usually you will be having one more topic. Okay, show 5 fields you see here. Show, yes, I think it is available. You can update the component here. Scroll down, you can see show 6 more fields. Click on this. Just click on this. Then you can find the component. As I mentioned, component also you can add. You can categorize the stories based upon the labels. You can categorize the stories based upon the components as well. The component is a registration component. Okay, and also one more thing is it's important that we have to see. I think user is logged into successful. This is associated to this particular sprint. You can associate this epic as part of a specific sprint. Yes, you can do that. And also you can say version. You can create a new version. Suppose I'm going to create a version as, like, say, as I said, this is release 1. Release 1, it's a version. The start date is, suppose for example, you can put 1st of October and you can put 3 months from now is a release date. Save it. You can put release 1. See here. So component, you can mark the some of the stories as a part of the component and you label them. You label them as model 1. But a component is a high level. Then you can have associated to sprint. Then you can associate it to a release. You can see all the information for this epic. You can associate this for the story, for a epic, for a task as well. Okay, so this is also completed. Now, very important point is we can even extend the functionality of Jira by installing new apps. So how are we going to install it? Let's see. For installing new apps, just go here. Okay. Okay, for installing new apps, you can see there is a apps in the top. You can check find new apps. Then you can identify some of the apps which are required for Jira. You can install these apps on top of Jira now. The main important app which I am going to download is Zephyr. Zephyr is an app which is helpful for us to create test cases. Let me type Zephyr here. This is helpful for a test management where we can create test cases, where we can create cycles, where we can track the traceability of the test cases from epic to the stories. This is important to add. Okay, click on the apps, check for Zephyr and try to select this. Then once you do this, you can click on apps here. Automatically it shows that Zephyr is already available in your Jira now. And also when you go to your projects, click on the projects and try to select the e-commerce project. Now here you can identify the Zephyr is getting added here. And click on Zephyr. It will be helpful for us to create a test case. Click on Zephyr. It will help you to create a test case. Click here. Click on the Zephyr. You can see you can create a test case. You can import the test cases, set the test cases, create a cycle. Okay, so now you can create a test case. You can do all the activities again here. Test summary, test metrics, traceability matrix. You can even integrate BDD, REST API, say test automation, continuous integration. You can even integrate continuous integration. There are a lot of things you can do it in Zephyr. So this will be totally covered in a separate video, but till now what we have discussed, it is very important for a manual tester, for an automation tester, or a developer, or a project manager, or a scrum master, or a product owner, anyone in the project, they should be aware of all these concepts which will be helpful for them to use Jira in the projects. So we completed all the topics what we have listed down in the notepad. Okay. Then we'll try to create one more video mainly to cover how are we going to use Zephyr, how to create test cases, more about from the test cases perspective, traceability matrix perspective, which will be helpful for us. And also we can execute the test cases, we can raise a defect. All these things are possible using a Zephyr plugin. So I hope this video will be very helpful for you to understand these topics. If you like my video, please subscribe and share with your friends. Thanks for watching this video.